The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Throwdown.
What is good, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 159. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez. Unmute yourself, baby. He's pressing it and shit. He's on his phone, by the way.
There we go. Sup, people? How you doing? This is the future, right?
Yeah, it's Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Brian Manjoma.
What up, people?
Brett Murdoch.
Hey, yo, we got a full house tonight.
Adam Vale.
I love me some Luke Craze.
And we got two guests tonight. First up, my man, the superpower editor-in-chief of the coalition, Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
The deception is strong with EA.
And we got, once again, the great one himself, the only one, Mr. Rikusan one.
What's good, y'all? I am back in this bitch. Here to talk about some games.
Some games, man. So before we start, Manny, things look different for you right now.
Yeah, if you notice the painting back here behind me, I'm actually back at my mom's place again and doing this from the phone. So
yeah, plug your shit, man. What are you doing in Queens?
Oh, I'm back again. I'm going to be doing the New York Anime New York, which is on this weekend. It's on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And I'll be selling my wares, and a couple of fans said they're going to show up, so there should be some good stuff. I'm going to be at table E6 wares. And
yeah. Okay, so no E3, huh?
No E3. No E3. No, I didn't get E3, but I do have a good spot. It's an interesting... It's on like the third level, and we're in this kind of atrium looking thing. So it's cool. The only problem is that I couldn't set up today. So for some reason, the way they have it set up is that they only have your setup on Friday, and they open the show at 12 on Friday. So I can get in at 8 o'clock in the morning, set my shit up, and then they open the show later on. So yeah. Weird stuff. Yeah. And it's not as big as New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con takes up the whole convention space.
Yeah.
What this one does is that they actually it's only the left corner where the main entrances are. So it's not as big. Even it's not as big as the original Anime Con that used to be here in New York years ago.
Interesting. So what are you going to be? Okay. So, because you're not an anime drawing guy, so you're still going to be selling your comic book stuff? I'm a little confused about that. This is an anime con. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Video games still kind of work in the anime space. And if you know a lot of the stuff that I've done, I've also done a lot of video game stuff. I also have some video game prints. So they kind of work. So, like, me having a print of something from Gravity Rush, or me having a print from something like Nier, that still fits in the anime space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I just did a Kingdom Hearts print, which you can actually watch me draw and color on our YouTube channel.
Yo, man, you giving me a segue, man, because that's what I wanted to talk to you about next. So you did you did an experiment this week where you actually streamed yourself drawing something for the channel, and it went over pretty well, actually.
Yeah, the first one did pretty well. I mean, the only crappy part of it was the stupid copyright strikes that we got
Nintendo.
On it. But Nintendo. Yeah, let's just say that I'm gonna remove those. I had two Mario Galaxy things, and the Nintendo robots got that shit instantly. So no more of that. And even Twitch got us for a couple of things. They got us for a song from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is crazy, and they also got us for some other song earlier on. Oh, the song by from Kingdom Hearts, the one song by that girl lady. So apparently they don't like that either. So there you go.
Yeah, so in the future you're gonna use Adams' music,
Yes, my stroke of genius is the fact that Adam has an album guys, Adam is a musician. He does amazing work, and he actually had made an album a couple of how many years ago?
Oh man, I released it in 2008 around there. Yeah, around 2008.
2008. So if you guys know one previous version of the Throwdown, before we even had the title music that we currently had, that Rachel found the musician for, we actually used Adam's Into the Gray as the intro for the show for like one episode.
Yeah. My buddy Jamal used a few tracks in some of his movies and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, you have like I think it's about like 10 tracks that you have on there. So next time I do any.
Yeah. And then I have 13, and then I have some new stuff that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll just put that in there. Like the next time I do one of those streams, we'll just run the album because it's like, and we don't even know what it's gonna hit. Like some of those things, like I said, I was talking about it earlier in the show on YouTube. I figured it out because one show has. I tried to kind of see where you can. It actually tells you what points that the copyrighted music is playing. So you click the link and it jumps you to that section. So what was the section? One of them was "The Best Is Yet to Come" from Metal Gear Solid 1. Apparently that got flagged, but it wasn't flagged by the real musician. It was flagged by some weird rapper guy. I'm like, you didn't make that shit.
Yo, man, that's my song.
Yeah, so I obviously mistook it for something else. But the problem is, that it seems like anything with vocals and well, anyway, I'm not gonna mess.
Dude,
with
you know
it.
how like rappers like always rip off other songs for the background music. Maybe he did that. You know?
Yeah, he could have actually done that. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Then you sue his ass.
It was a lot of fun doing the stream, and I mean, Tony was like really surprised. He popped up earlier, and then like 5 hours later, he's like, "Yo, man, you still going?" I'm like, "Yo, man, this shit takes a long time."
That's crazy, man.
So
that's good though.
Yeah, and then So yeah, the first stream is like 5 hours long. So I put a timestamp in there if you want to skip to where you see all the line work done, and I start doing the color work. And the first video, the second one is around 2 hours long, about as long as an episode of Throwdown. I'm gonna see if maybe put another timestamp in there to kind of, buffer it a little bit for you guys. So yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, I'll have the time to do more of those sorts of things, and even Chris or even Brett, I would love to see do something on there too. It's really easy to get the thing set up once you have OBS and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Awesome, man. All right, man. You gave you guys plenty of time to get in here because tonight is going to be a fucking wild show, man. And
it's wild.
Okay, so basically, as you guys know what's going on, this whole week, there's been a ton of drama about, EA and Battlefront 2 and all that over loot crates, over all that shit, right? Now, this really got crazy over the weekend because EA had like a AMA thing over on Reddit. And it didn't go over very well, like their answers were like PR double speak answers. People didn't like that. And then, they kind of had a backtrack. Go ahead, bro.
Does somebody want to recap basically why people are upset with the loot crate?
Well, the problem is that like originally, you had to like to unlock the heroes in the game, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, all that. You had to grind for like 40 fucking hours, right? And I think, Brett, you got to tell me this. What was the price of these things? Because I heard the price was fucking nuts, too. To like just unlock them right away or whatever. They had to slash the price by 75%, which lets me know they were probably pretty high to begin with,
Yeah, the original prices were not cheap. I forget how much they were, but they've been all over the place. And there's been a lot of rumors circulating, and as far as I understand it, now I haven't played the beta, but as far as I understand it too, you also get your star cards through these drops.
Yeah.
And somebody in the chat or in the room, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if that is the case, the big problem with that is your star cards are essentially your biggest way to level up. They're the way that you gain new abilities. So to put them at the mercy of RNG and then put that RNG behind a paywall as well, eventually leads you to, you and I could play, we could acquire the same number of boxes, you could get better drops and be the equivalent of a higher level than me, even though we put in the same amount of time. And while that's not a huge deal, the amount of points that you get isn't based off of skill. You don't get more points towards your quote unquote loot box if you play better in the game. You just get a set amount. And the amount required to buy these through in-game points and not real money equates to about 40 hours, I want to say, according to some reports, per character, per end-game character. So you're looking at something like 2,300 or some shit like that hours to unlock all the stuff.
And like 2,400 in real world money if you decide to pay out and do it.
Damn.
Yeah.
I also heard it was like, again, correct me if I'm wrong about this. If you want to unlock every single thing in the game, it's going to take you like a couple of thousand years. That's what I heard.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
like 1,000, 2,000 years. Yeah.
It was like 40. It was like like 4,000 something hours. Yeah, like to actually unlock everything on your own. So and then also there was also the amount of money on how much money you needed to unlock everything, which was like in the $2,000 because the loot boxes are just randomized.
Yeah.
All you get is you get a bunch of random stuff, so you won't always get the same shit. That's screwed. That's really screwed up.
But there's even a worse part.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
What I was gonna say, I mean, like, all of us separately, like Brett said this, he said this, Brian has been railing against.
Oh yeah.
We've all been saying this, but the level of greed that this went to is astronomical. Like the grind they put in, the way to get a paywall going. This is Zynga level mobile bullshit.
Oh, Chris, did you hear? Since we're just jumping right into this, have any of you read the CNBC report?
Yeah, let's get into that because it's fucking nuts.
So the CNBC report is basically EA talking with the who are they talking with exactly? Talking with a reporter for I want to say CNBC. Anyway, the idea is they're talking about this from a stock share and stockholder point of view, and they make some great comments. First of all, I want to, before I get too damn, I want to lead in with this is according to them. Management highlighted game depth and quality, but did not provide an update on unit expectations. As for the Battlefront II hero cost controversy, EA indicated the original hero costs were established based on targeted rate of gameplay progression and balance, but not economics. So that is the and I will continue to quote this throughout this discussion, but this is the first little bit that I thought was prevalent, is even they recognize that their numbers are based off of what they can squeeze out of you and not off of any kind of real world economic curve. This is literally just what can we get away with, not what is reasonable, prudent, or standard in the industry. And they admit it right there. And Chris is great at reading through double public speak. That's pretty much what that's saying, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like they put it that way to not make it seem nefarious, but in reality, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly as you said. They sit down and make careful calculations to make sure that the grind, the level amount that you have to play, is near impossible for anyone with a job or anything. So you'll fork over money but they do it in such a way that it's more likely that you're going to fork over the money than spend the time to grind out to get your favorite character from Star Wars. That's why they lock it behind that wall. And then they use that double speak to go. They go on TV or they go on Reddit. But everyone saw through that bullshit, which is why it's the most downvoted Reddit AMA of all time.
Which leads me to point two, and I'm just going to want to break this down with you guys before we get into some of the other stuff. Quote, we see recent controversies as a potential risk for unit sales versus buy-side expectations, although EA has conservative estimates for Battlefront Live services. So if I'm reading that correctly, Chris, they don't expect a large turnover rate in retained player base. They expect a fair amount of people to buy it, although that's somewhat conservative, but they don't expect a lot of people to stay and play it.
I would assume that they would have some projections of player retention, or you wouldn't have created this crazy
Yeah, I thought that was the whole
Well,
point of
if,
this.
if, if they're going for the MOBA market, the idea is that they're going to target the most intense and obsessive spenders.
Right.
I think excluding everyone else. But here's the most damning thing in this. And this is the part that I really wanted to get to. Early reviews have been impacted by negative sentiment around a character progression system that publications and consumers believe overemphasize microtransactions. We believe a review score for a game like Star Wars Battlefront is less important given the strength of the Star Wars brand, but recognize the negative sentiment is a challenge.
Oh my God, that's
but now it seems
they don't care. That's
no. And I continue. If Star Wars can encourage users to spend real money on virtual goods like FIFA, the game could drive meaningful upside to FIFA 18 and 19 episodes. But this is not a certainty.
Wait, what?
FIFA is complete. I knew it. I knew this shit.
It is almost stupid that it says this, but I will read that one more time just in case anybody missed that.
No, it's them not understanding the difference. You know, how the Ultimate Team works and the reason why people play that as opposed to getting
They understand the difference. They don't care.
They don't care. Yeah, that's exactly what that said.
But obviously, then they don't want to make money because if they did, they would have added something like that.
No, because this whole article is how about none of this is affecting their stock shares. So they don't care. It mentions repeatedly in here that they reaffirmed the quote-unquote overrate rating at $130 price tag for Electronic Arts shares. Yeah. This is an article based towards stock and has actually brought up the fact they've increased their stock revenue since April by a decent margin. If I can get my phone, let's see. Post maintained by his buy rating at $137 price target for Electronic Arts share, representing a 22% upside to Tuesday's close. So EA's stock is selling because of this, and they have it in black and white that they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care that you're mad because they're still making money.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what everyone has to realize. Besides people who like Tony or Richard or whatever have to do a job and get this game, the rest of you, they just called you suckers. That's what that said.
Yep.
They said you guys are suckers, and really the guys that are important are shareholders. We don't. And they said they don't care about review scores. That's what that said. So what you should do now is if you were thinking about buying this game, don't. That's what you should do.
But then they also come out recently, wasn't it them that said that in the future we're going to just start focusing on Metacritic scores?
I think that was Square Enix. I don't think that was EA. I think Square was focused on average Metacritic, or Warner Brothers, one of them. That wasn't EA though. Yeah,
but it's fine because I mean they really don't have to worry about anything. I mean I'll send you the article. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they announced that they're making an annually $800 million just from FIFA Ultimate Team alone.
Damn, son.
A year. Yeah, so I mean they shouldn't have to worry about anything. Of course, the stock's going to be up just with FIFA alone. You know, now I don't know how much they pay for those licenses and the teams and all that stuff, but still $800 million a year. That's ridiculous.
They make money off this shit.
But let me ask you that: how much does it cost to buy all the content in FIFA?
You can't. It just keeps going because every week there's more cards. So let's say if you're playing and you're a player and you were an 80 and then this weekend you score 2 goals, you get a black card. It's an 82. Next weekend you score more goals, then you get another card and another card. People just keep getting it. It's not like your card gets upgraded on its own, and people just keep buying them. And then it's every league in the world, every player in the world. You know what I mean? It's like it's endless. It is endless.
Okay, so is it horrifying to anybody else that that they're using this as a business model to explore further monetization of FIFA? Further monetization. They want to charge more and put more microtransactions in FIFA, and this is their test bed to do it?
Horrible.
Okay, I forgot where I read this, but basically they explain how companies like EA, how they operate, basically. Okay, basically they have a lot of committees, right, that are purely dedicated to figuring out how to make the most money from these microtransactions. They're always looking at player behavior, right? They're always adjusting it to see how much they could get out of you. So in that sense, I'm not surprised that they're trying to use this in Star Wars as a thing for FIFA, because it's all the same thing to them. It's all DLC, it's all money, whatever. So they're always constantly testing out what the hell is going to work out best for them. And even what's going on with Battlefront now, same deal. They're testing things out. I actually do want to move over to the next part here, because this is
before I move off of this, I just want to I just want to bask in the validation and reaffirm my point to everybody. They don't care about their customers. They care about their stockholders. And the only reason that we're seeing this article is because there's been enough controversy brought forward about this game that their stockholders are starting to get nervous. Public image is an asset. There actually is another way to fight this other than with our wallets. And I hate to say it, but it's time to pull out the guerrilla tactics here. We need to kick up such a large dust storm that anybody who brings up Battlefront, even casually, has to know or have heard about this. We need to disseminate down into the average zeitgeist. And it's already happening. Go ahead.
It's exactly the same thing that happened with Xbox, and it's the same thing that happened with Sony.
Yeah.
If you get that thing into that sort of thought process into the zeitgeist, that will totally affect your sales. What did people think?
Stock.
Exactly. So I mean, the thing is that that, again, in general, a lot of it's for gamers. Gamers already know this. It's Joe Blow on the street that needs to associate this too. Has to understand that, wait, when I buy this game, I can't. It's only centered on trying to get money out of me, and that's the only way to really fight that sort of stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Blow, by the way.
Joe Blow.
Yeah, you guys gave me the perfect segue, because obviously this shit does impact their sales or whatever. Public image is a very strong thing. Now, and this happened literally 2 hours before we started recording. EA has temporarily taken out all the microtransactions. Game comes out tomorrow, so they're trying to save face. I obviously want to get you guys' thoughts, but when I saw this, I like, the cynical part of me couldn't help but think, you know what, I'm going to get into it. The cynical part of me couldn't help but think, this is a ploy by them. This is a huge ploy by them. This is why, right? Because taking out microtransactions doesn't remove the biggest problem that people have with this game, the time it takes to get all this shit, right? All these heroes or whatever, right? So I believe, and again, I'm being extremely cynical, but, Manny, can you chill out with that noise for a second? I'm trying to talk.
Sorry. I didn't think this thing was that sensitive. Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty sensitive. And Adam, you too, lower your COD a little bit. I still hear it.
I don't have it on.
Well, okay, I still heard it.
It's impossible. I'm not even playing COD.
Yeah, well, what are you playing right now then?
Nothing.
I see your fucking glasses, bro. Anyway, let me get back. Yeah. Let me get back to the point here. I think what EA is doing is, okay, we're gonna remove the microtransactions, right? Then people start playing the game and they see how long, and I'm talking about casuals in this case. They see how long it takes to get all the shit. It's like, can we please get some fucking microtransactions? I know that's cynical as shit, but I can see that happening.
It's not. Yeah. It's not cynical. I mean, you look at. I mean. What's cynical is not fucking recognizing the problem, and you hit the nail on the head. They have not fixed the problem, so they can still offer a solution, and they've even said they're temporarily suspending microtransactions.
Temporarily,
and you think to yourself, like, oh, to rebalance them, to change the gameplay? No, they didn't say that. That's just the shit that you imply, because that's the kind of shit that would make sense. And so you just fill in the gaps. No, they're just going to suspend it until you get frustrated and forget, and the whole controversy blows over. Do you really think that EA is going to, as we just established, with their stockholders, do you think they're really going to go with their stockholders and be like, so yeah, I know we had projected, $78 million from these microtransactions over the next fiscal quarter, but we are just going to cut that and call it a loss? No, they're not doing that. They've promised people money. They're going to get it, or they're going to try and fail.
So how do they unlock these guys, and if the transactions are turned off?
thousands of hours.
Yeah. Listen, go ahead, Adam. And then I just gotta jump. By the way, Brett, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what's going on here. They're counting on people getting so frustrated with how long it takes to unlock this shit. They're gonna practically beg for these microtransactions. Again, the people that are really complaining about this shit aren't the casuals, the guys who actually are used to buying the microtransactions, the same people that have been trained to buy microtransactions because of cell phone games. I'm telling you right now, EA is gonna bring this shit back. When people get really frustrated by this shit. Go ahead, Adam.
Remember, the cell phone games, those are free to play. They're trying to incorporate a free to play model in a game that
that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there.
The reason it's not going to work. The casuals won't pay. The casuals don't give a shit about that.
But whoa. So how do you explain the fact that Take-Two and Ubisoft, right? That still games that are $60 each. Their revenues, half of the revenues are from DLC and microtransactions.
Yeah, that's not casuals. Those are people that want to play.
No, those are casuals, bro.
We're talking about Star Wars. No, they don't do those same type of things. They actually give you content. If I get something in Ubisoft, let's say something in Ghost Recon, something, I keep it. They don't give me something that's temporary, like these cards that people are using in the Battlefront. I remember when they had that in first Battlefront.
The cards are temporary.
Pointless.
Yeah, the cards are temporary.
But no, I had ones that were temporary, like, get certain grenades or get certain armor bonuses and stuff. Those things expired on me. And I was like, I don't want this shit. I remember when Titanfall did some of that, and I didn't even bother. I was like, no, it's not. Yeah,
but the larger point is that people are already used to buying this shit, and companies are making most of their money from microtransactions. So EA is not going to let this go, man. I'm telling you.
It doesn't matter because it's the least of their worries. This wasn't the problem. The problem people are having now with this game, the actual game, forget about microtransactions. The reviews of the game and people that have been playing it saying the story sucks. And that's an issue that they don't like.
No one's even talking about that. No one's talking about that because of the microtransactions.
Everybody's hooked on microtransactions, but they were like, let's focus on what people wanted from this game to begin with. People wanted a story. They were like, yeah, we want a campaign. Okay, here you go. And a lot of people that have played it said, well, we think it's a story about, the dark side and playing as Empire. No spoilers, but they were like, that's not what happens here. It's very misleading and it gets frustrating. So that's what I've been seeing, that people are like, it's a story. Forget about microtransactions. There's a lot of people don't play the damn multiplayers for these games. They just wanted the main story. A lot of people didn't buy Battlefront the first one because it didn't have a campaign. And remember, that was a whole if. Oh, man, you don't have a campaign. It's all multiplayer, and I got to pay all this money and blah, blah, blah. So they're like, all right, here you go. Here's your story. So for those people,
4-hour story, by the way, from what I heard. Yeah,
it's short. And a lot of people were saying, they were like, that's one guy who already had the preview and all that shit. He was like, yo, I already finished this shit. This was really short. It's like as if they just tacked it on just to shut people up. And obviously they focused a lot on the multiplayer because that's where they want to make their money with these transactions.
Yeah, go ahead,
well,
Carlos.
We shouldn't be surprised by that. They shut down Visceral for the same reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at the at the Metacritic user score. It has a 0.8. It's over 3,000 reviews, and a lot of them are just saying stuff about the microtransactions.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Adam, because the reviewers are talking about the story, but the gamers are not. They're talking about the microtransactions. The people who are actually buying this are talking about the microtransactions. But at the same time, like I've said before, the people complaining are the core gaming audiences, right? Casuals probably don't even know about this shit. You know how many conversations I had about the first game?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they don't know about it because they don't care.
They don't care about it. Let me just tell you this: with the first Battlefront, right? When I was talking to my more casual friends, like I would say, they were like, oh, I'm so hype. I'm like, aren't you upset that the game has no story? They're like, what do you mean it has no story? They were ignorant about it,
because you would think, you automatically assume. People assume these things because it's expected. We see it with Call of Duty. We see it with all these first-person shooters. You have a story and you have multiplayer. It's very few games that actually don't have it, and when they don't, there's backlash. We saw it with the Rainbow Six Siege. Remember when everyone was hyped on Rainbow Six? When the new one came out and found it was all multiplayer shit, a lot of people got pissed. Forget about all the issues it had game-wise. A lot of people didn't like that. Same thing with Titanfall. Titanfall came out, awesome game. But they were like, hey, where's the campaign? Yeah, you charged me $60. Where's the campaign? It's like, well, it's a mini sliding one inside this, the multiplayer. Nope, we don't give a shit. All right, fuck it. All right, part 2, we'll put a campaign. You know what I mean? And that's it.
So what about Overwatch?
Overwatch it. I don't even know. That's just a shooter, run around, running gun. That tells you
No,
what
but
it
that
is
game
right
makes
off
a
the bat.
lot of money off microtransactions,
And
loot crates.
People like it.
Titanfall to key right
There's
there.
new characters. That's a new world. And aren't you getting these characters and stuff like that? People do it. I don't know. I think it's a different universe. I mean, look at what we just said about FIFA. I don't know anybody that bitches about these flood coins and stuff. We don't ever hear about it. I just told you, they just said, announced 800 million a year they make. No one's bitching about that. No one's saying, damn, you charge me all this money for cards. No one cares. It depends on the community. Just the people into Star Wars see this shit and they're up in arms. So.
Well, I also think I mean, I definitely think you are right, where it is also the world that they've kind of created. Like, with Star Wars, what is the biggest thing about Star Wars? It's not the fucking wars, it's the story.
Storytelling.
That's what it's the story. For a game like Overwatch, it's already been established that their world is not really about story. It's really just about gameplay. And if you do want stories, you don't even actually need to buy the damn game. You could just watch the animations or buy the comic books that they have. You don't even need to interact with the actual Overwatch game in order to enjoy it. The story part of it. So I definitely think that, you're right, definitely right. It's like it's the world that they kind of come from, that kind of dictates what the games should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or people perceive the games to be.
It's what they expect, and a lot of people are going to just expect that, and be like, oh, okay, this and that. A lot of people are not going to buy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to the story. What about the multiplayer? I don't give a shit. It's a story. I want the story. They said they put a lot of time and money into the story, and they know the Battlefield series with their stories, epic storytelling, just like a Call of Duty, big explosions, and that's what they're looking forward to. Now, are they going to get upset that it's short? I don't know. Depends on how much it makes them happy. But I know a lot of people that suck in multiplayer. So when they go in there and they're not running and gunning real fast and frantic, then they're like, nah, I can't do this. I'm not doing that.
So I'm listening about all these casuals that buy the games for whatever reason. They don't really care about the microtransactions. So my question is, are people still going to buy this game now that we got all this controversy?
I think so.
I think the thing is that it's just, I think it's not the fact that the regular players don't care about microtransactions. I think it's the fact that they don't know what they are. And I also think it's also, plus a lot of people are partly trained to accept that microtransactions will be in the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Microtransactions and DLCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In other words, Joe Blow on the street is not going to question as to what the game is. It is the game. They'll be, oh, okay, but they won't be like, oh, hey, they'll be like, I really hate this, and they'll still buy it anyway.
Yeah. To answer your question, Carlos, I don't believe it's going to affect. I mean, it's going to affect it a little bit, I do believe, but not a lot. I think they're going to go to the store. They're going to see Star Wars. They're going to pick the shit up because they don't know about this. They don't check out Twitter. They don't go to gaming forums. They don't look at podcasts. They're ignorant to all of this shit. They just see Star Wars and they want to buy it.
Well, the parents are buying for their kids for Christmas and stuff. They just see Star Wars and they're like, all right, I want the new Star Wars game. My kid's going to like it. Kid probably will like it. Kid is not going to put money into it unless there's a credit card linked to the account. And he's like, fuck it, I'm racking this up. But besides that, he's not going to care. He just wants to shoot some blasters and maybe get a lightsaber.
That's it.
This is what the CNBC report basically says. The brand will sell it, right?
Yeah.
So what you guys are describing exactly what they think is going to happen. Nobody cares about the review scores and stuff. They just see Star Wars, and that's what they're counting on.
Yeah. The thing is, though, they're not going to get the whales. Because the whales are going to be pissed. Those are the ones that are spending money buying all the microtransactions stuff. And they're going to be like, you know what? You think I'm a sucker. I'm not doing it.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. By the way, Adam, quickly, for the people who don't know, we're not talking about marine animals here. What are whales?
No, we're talking about people that just need to go in there, get all the cool content, get all the DLC. They want all of that. Right out the box. They don't care. They want it all so that way they have it. If something has here's a pack of new outfits and uniforms, fuck it, I want that. Give me that. All right. Best guns. What? I want the best guns right now. I don't want to have to worry about all that. Those are the whales.
Yeah, he's talking about guys like that one dude who spent $15,000 on Mass Effect 3, multiplayer shit like that. It's crazy, man.
There's a lot of them, and most of them, I'm going to be honest and piss people off here. Most of them are around 16 years old. 16 to 18, like a lot of disposable income or their parents' income. Like those are going to be the ones that EA really sinks their teeth into on this one, because They will pick up the Star Wars game for little Timmy, and they won't realize how much they're being nickel and dimed until like the fourth time they're like, I need to buy this new card. Like, what? Why? Oh, because I can't level up with that. All my friends are passing me up. Like, I've known that to happen in Destiny so many times.
Shoot, I knew that in FIFA. You know, I had to leave a lot of FIFA groups, especially on the PSN community, because once you're in there, people send a message, hey, listen, I'll help you level up. If you give me like $10, I can get some packs. Or,
wow.
I know how to win this tournament. Let me win this tournament for you. You know, and then if you can give me like $10-20, you know, that's it. People are hooked.
Yeah, people be like, you know, give me that shit right there.
I'm gonna help you.
I'll help you good.
Yeah, hey, I want to get Brian's thoughts in this because he has like a larger kind of view on all this, man. Go ahead.
I am sad and disappointed that this isn't a thing that we're talking about, in general, because, like, it seems like EA's greed just knows no bounds, and I'm just, okay, on the one hand, I'm not surprised that EA have done this purely because it's EA, and two, I'm just kind of saddened that like this is the state of things that EA thinks are natural, and it even goes more to show like the reason why I just don't like EA anymore. As I said, like these guys will just take a studio, spirit out, and won't care. And I'm not surprised that they went around and said, "Hey, microtransactions for everyone." Then they believe that everyone will just buy microtransactions as if it's a thing, people because it's Star Wars. It's a shame because again, like I love the Battlefront games, the original ones, not these ones. These ones are shit. I don't know why they even exist. Well, I do know why they exist, but yeah, fuck that.
For money, that's why.
Yeah, and it's just depressing. Like they're pretty much just sullied possibly one of the best Star Wars games ever, purely because they've just taken the namesake and they've injected the modern age BS, and they've sullied it. So in terms of gaming history, Battlefront games will now be remembered as the microtransactions from hell, rather than a solid third-person, first-person shooter, which is a shame. And I, like with the first one, will not be purchasing this for principles and because I have other games to play. And also, fuck EA.
All right, Rich, man, get in here. What are your thoughts?
All right, I got two quick comments I would like to make. First and foremost, I think we definitely need to give a shout out to CNN because once this story got on that site, that's when I saw a lot of this other stuff happening today because they published a story about this earlier today. And then, you know, I left, I came back, and then I hear, microtransactions have been suspended. So,
well, it's getting big. You heard in Belgium. Belgium government is investigating.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that in a bit, but yeah, basically.
But that's all related because that's why it's becoming. It's hitting that level, that national level, and that world level of like, okay, what's going on here? You know. And
well, there's some countries that have actually banned that sorts of transactions because they resemble gambling so much.
I mean, it should be banned. Like, we can all agree that at the very least, it is predatory, exploitative behavior towards a certain group of people who find themselves eventually having a problem and and spending money through compulsion, and they will milk that cow as long as they can. That's one of the same reasons I have beef with mobile gaming is that's, as Adam puts it, the whales. And a lot of times these aren't people with a huge amount of discretionary income. These are people who are literally addicted to the game through no small part, like the Pavlovian fucking conditioning and the gambling with your own dopamine that you play through, that you get through competitive games. They've found ways to exploit that. They're exploiting mechanisms of the human mind for profit at a detrimental effect to the consumer, and they don't care. So, I mean, at the very least, while I know we could go back and forth all night about whether this should be legal or not, we can all just put a pin in. It's fucked up, right?
Yeah, it's fucked up. And just to clarify, they're not looking to ban it. It's just like they want to classify it as gambling, which would prevent it from being sold in stores. But they're not banning it, Oh, by the way, a quick shout out to Ralph, who just threw us $5, man. Thank you. Ralph. But anyway,
thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, Rich, continue with your points. You said that was the first one.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is, I know you had asked the question earlier, are people still going to buy the game? Well, I looked at when EA made that statement on Twitter and looked at the responses. A lot of people said, oh, well, yeah, now I'll definitely get the game. And then you had other people say, well, you shouldn't do that because you're just buying into their plan. So some people won't buy it, but a lot of people still will buy it because that you said is Star Wars.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I saw a bunch of people saying, hey, they flat out told me, even with microtransactions, they were going to buy the game anyway. They don't give a fuck. You know, they don't give a fuck. It's Star Wars. That's all they care about. You know, but and the thing is, I do want to address this because it's very important and stuff. I thought I was muted for a second. Basically, shit, I forgot my fucking point. Damn it. Fuck, I'm an old man now. Well, anyway, go on. I totally forgot what the fuck I was going to say. It was a important point too. Shit. Anyway, Riku, get in here, man. Are you even interested? I never pegged you for a Star Wars type of guy. So do you even care about this?
Well, I think like last year or the year before last, I did marathon through the Star Wars series, trying to get into the series, like it and whatnot. You know, I actually do like Star Wars a lot. I played Battlefront on PS2, probably one of my favorite games, honestly, on PS2. I didn't really like Battlefront 2 on PS2, but you know, I played that Battlefront that came out on PS4. It's not bad. It's not the Battlefront I like. I call it Battlefield Star Wars Edition because that's what the fuck it is.
Star Wars Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield Star Wars Edition. That's
pretty much what it is. Let's just be honest, you know.
That's what it is. It's fucking Battlefield with Star Wars shit all up in it. So I didn't really connect with it as much as I did the previous one. I saw the beta for the new one. Wasn't interested. Didn't even play it. I downloaded the beta. Didn't even play it. So I basically downloaded it and then deleted it. But hearing all this shit with EA, I remember there was a vote on what company is the worst company of all time.
Yeah, EA won a couple of years in a row, by the way.
Yeah, this is like not even just like limited to video game companies. This is like all companies across all, like, everything. And I remember everyone was voting EA. I was like, God damn! You remember I wasn't even like deep into what EA was doing back when they all voted them back then. I was just minding my own business, so I was just like, why is everyone voting for EA? What did EA do that's so bad? And now that I'm, you know, not really focused on it, just I'm starting to see a lot more of their fuck shit. I'm like, yeah, you guys kind of do deserve that. I guess you guys want it again this year, huh? But
they really didn't like that either. They like for a fairly insignificant contest, they freaked the fuck out. Like, got really butthurt when they got voted the worst company in America.
Especially when they were like, "What about Enron and stuff? We didn't ruin people's pensions." These people were.
So I do find it rather fucking, you know, convenient that if that award did come around again, they probably would win it once again. That whole thing with Visceral that I heard they did with Respawn and all that shit, I never really got to talk about that, but that's some fuck shit they did to Visceral, because I love me some Dead Space, and that's probably never gonna happen.
Well, most of those people are left to do Call of Duty, so you weren't gonna ever see that again.
Well, I'm just talking about the Dead Space franchise in general.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking gone. That was my favorite horror series. But pertaining to this specific thing, the thing that you talked about, Brett, the whole gambling thing. I'm just gonna hop onto that just quickly. I personally compare it to card. You could say card games like baseball cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, where they had the little packages in like Walmart, and you don't necessarily knew what you were going to get in that card package. You wanted a rare card, but you didn't really know what you were going to get.
That's Ultimate Team. You get packs like that, and you don't know what's in it. So
and you don't know what's in it, and those aren't necessarily considered gambling.
Because you're still getting something,
Yeah, you're still getting something. So as far as like loot crates and randomly getting something, I personally wouldn't consider it gambling, because if you consider that gambling, you have to consider the whole card thing gambling too. You're technically using the verb gamble, because you're trying to get something rare and you're putting a chance out there, but It's not like you're, like I said, you gotta consider that gambling too if you consider.
Oh, I don't think it's gambling. I just think it's exploitative.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Especially when you consider,
But do you
card
think the card thing, the little card thing, do you think that's exploitative too?
I think there's a line that it crosses that it does become exploitative. I think that you're still producing a physical good. You are still, yes, producing physical scarcity, but there is the cost of, like, baseball cards more so, but, like, I collected Marvel cards when I was a kid. And, like, you still had to pay for the art, the printing, all that stuff, like the advertisement. It's not that much different than collecting comic books in that instance. Now, where it takes a turn is when they start charging exorbitant amounts, or they only have really rare variants. I was always fine with, but when it was so incredibly hard and so incredibly rare to find a card that you needed just to complete the basic set, then I got a little bit pissed off. It had to be attainable. And it couldn't be super overpriced. I still remember being a little butthurt. I was like, fuck, man, Marvel Masterpiece is like $5 goddamn a pack. Whereas, like, everything else was like $2.99. I'm like, and I get like 10 fucking cards out of them. Granted, they're really fucking nice cards. Mm-hmm. They are really nice cards.
Those were amazing, yeah.
They were some of the best, like, comic cards ever. And I still have my full set, and it's awesome. But I think that line is is much easier to pass over when this is digital content, when the overhead of creating it was really very little, especially like when you like, and in this instance, this is the same overhead and assets that you would be creating for a normally fledged game, for a normal full-fledged game. You're just hiding them behind a paywall now, which is taking things away from people to charge them a la carte. Like it's just, I feel like it's a dick move. I don't think it's gambling, but you are there. They know exactly what they're doing. They know their demographic. They know that there are people out there who won't care. And it's not like they're sitting there saying like, oh, we think most of our customer base are living on yachts and playing Call of Duty 12 hours a day. Like, no, they know the income levels. They know the age ranges. They know that there is a fucking 22-year-old college student who works part-time at a liquor store that is spending $8,000 a year on fucking shooters. They know that. They don't care. The same way cigarette companies don't care. I equate this more with cigarettes. Like it's a quasi addictive. Well, no, it's an addictive behavior. Let's not even.
Yeah, it's not quasi.
Let's just
addictive,
fucking say this.
Yeah,
they're both addictive behaviors, and there's science to back both of those up. And I'm not going to say that video gaming is a bad or addictive thing. I'm just saying that it can be exploited. When there's a really interesting study I read that was basically breaking down what happens in the brain when your average Call of Duty player sits down and plays. And the long and short of it was they gamble with their own dopamine response. They sit down, they play this game, they get this kind of fight or flight heightened response thing going on, and if they win, their brain releases a small dopamine reward, rewarding them for their time and effort. If they lose, their brain punishes them and releases a small amount of cortisol instead, which is a stress hormone. And then this compounds and encourages the player to want to play again. So those of us who don't understand like this really cyclical competitive shooter behavior,
they did that for sports also. They said it for Madden and stuff like that. People just get any kind of competitive game. People just get like that, like Street Fighter and stuff. Why do these kids keep doing it? It's like
exactly because you're gambling your own dopamine, and that's not a problem, like all by itself. It's a problem though when somebody recognizes this and says that need for dopamine when you're kind of like craving, like when you've lost 5 matches in a row and you're about to break your fucking controller because all your brain is just thumping out cortisol and all you want is a little bit of dopamine because it's been a hard fucking day. When they realize they can get in that moment and charge you $4 for that dopamine response, that's where it becomes an addictive, exploitative behavior. you're taking advantage of the way people's mind works. It's no different than kind of conning somebody with fear. Like you go in, you freak them out about a possible earthquake, and then you sell them earthquake insurance. Well, sure, like yeah, you stimulate certain parts of the brain, you release certain chemicals in the brain, you reduce the amount of logic, or it's when a girl or when they use really heavy sex to try and fucking sell something, like you're just trying to reduce blood flow to my fucking brain, so I make stupid choices. Like I get it, it's just not cool, and so I put this on the same level as that. It's not gambling. It's fucked up, man. And it's a really fucked up thing to do to kids.
Yeah, because they're the most likely to jump into this shit. Going back to what we were talking about before, I was talking to, this was years ago, by the way, right? I was talking to my man, John, who worked at GameStop, right? And he was telling me the thing they sell the most there are fucking League of Legends cards to kids. It's the same type of deal. Microtransactions, man. It's crazy. Anybody else want to say anything else on this?
With all those little figurines.
Oh, amiibos, yeah.
Yeah, with the amiibos, same shit.
Yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Anybody? We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. We're never gonna go down the rabbit hole. Actually, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody want to say one last thing before we move on to the next topic?
So EA said they're taking it out. That's what they said.
Yeah, they said temporarily. You know what? Let's end it on that note. When do you expect them to bring it back? Because I expect them to, I don't know the exact date, but I expect them to bring it back when the heat dies down, right? So before Christmas sounds about right. As late as early January. It'll be back soon. It'll definitely be back soon.
The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
That's my guess.
And here's my question to you guys. Will it be announced like that, or will it just be a thing that shows up one night?
No, they'll have to announce it.
Yeah. No, they won't announce it.
They will, because people are going to want to know. It's like, all right, so how much am I getting when I beat this game now? Because that's the other thing. They said they cut the points of how much credits you earn after you beat the game, so that way you can't just get one of these heroes.
Heck, freaking Sony shitted on Microsoft for having a console that was quote unquote always online, and they've released freaking always online games under the rug. These companies are shady as hell. They just won't say anything.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to just put it back in there quietly in the middle of the night. Someone's going to notice it, and then a bunch of news posts are going to go up. But I don't think they're going to announce it.
Oh, I don't know. You don't think that they're going to wait until the people who do buy that kind of DLC stuff and microtransactions, you're not going to. I think that they're going to wait until they hear something, like some people on Twitter, and then they're going to be like, due to customer demand, we've brought back our microtransactions, and we've gone through and analyzed and rebalanced everything for a more enjoyable experience.
Let's just be honest. They're going to say they rebalanced it for a more enjoyable experience anyway. So, Brett, your answer is there is no firm release date. It's dependent on when people want it back. Are you saying that?
No, I say... No, you starve people out for about a month, and you'll have a small fraction of people asking for it, and then you can point to those people and be like, due to customer demand.
Yep, that's right.
So I'd say a month, maybe.
Yeah, it'll before the year. I think everybody's agreed on that, right? Before the year's out, the shit will be back.
Well, what about the prices just for people playing? Like, did they change any of those numbers? Did they lower it again? Like, we know the 75%.
They said all microtransactions, all of them.
But that's not microtransactions. That's just in-game collecting points.
No. They didn't reduce the cost of unlocking new characters. They just reduced the cost of paying for new characters. The grind to get to those characters, I believe, is still the same.
It's still the same.
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
Which is the whole they've not really solved anything. In fact, all they've done is create a problem that they have the solution for.
Brett, I have to cut you off. I just remember what I had to say. Okay, basically, a lot of people have said that they feel that they've won, right? Like, oh, we won against the big corporation. You didn't win shit. They're still going to win in the end. They just did this temporarily in order to satiate you, right? But they're going to bring that shit right the fuck back, and they're going to make a shit ton of money off these microtransactions. So the whole thought of, oh yeah, we won, you didn't win shit. They want you to think you've won. You haven't won squat.
No, it's exactly that. It's we won. Oh, did you? Yeah, cool. So you gonna buy that game now? Fuck yeah, we won.
Yeah.
What I'm surprised is that when they first announced this, when the game was coming out, I'm like, oh yeah, guess what? No season pass, and we're gonna have all this content. I'm like, there's got to be a hook. There's got to be a catch. How are you going to throw all this stuff away for free? There is always a catch, unless you're saying, hey, we're giving you all this stuff right off the bat, but you know what? Our games are no longer $60, $100 flat. You get all of this stuff. That's it. No microtransactions, no season pass. Everything is there. All content we ever release, all there, $100.
Would you
That's
rather
what
it that way?
season pass is. That's
They didn't do it.
That is literally how they sold us the season pass.
No, but they had it separate. I'm willing to say everything included. None of that stuff. Just
No,
do it.
so
Just
you're
get
saying
rid of
you're saying just force people to buy the season pass because
everything.
that's how it'll be interpreted.
Everything. Yeah, no, everything. All content.
They'll be like, it's not. Why is this game $90? Because it includes the season pass. Well, what if I don't want to pay for the season pass?
Too bad.
Tough shit. It's included. Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
gonna
see it.
fly
I'm
like a
telling you, we're
lead
gonna see it with the new
balloon.
Witcher. We're gonna see it. They're already talking about changing the pricing for that game, so we're gonna see it.
Oh,
Do you think
but
the pricing
everybody
for,
loves CD Projekt. Sorry, go ahead.
do you think the pricing for video games, since it didn't really change
low.
from last generation, you think it's still reasonable for $59.99 this generation?
Actually, I have a question.
And do you think next generation is it gonna stay $59.99?
All right, just to add some more to that, right? Some of these companies are saying that the reason they have to introduce microtransactions is because since the price of games has remained the same and they need to make money, they need to add all this shit. So would raising the price of games eliminate some of this stuff? I don't think so, because they make too much fucking money. I think
never
next
in the
generation,
history of business has somebody said this thing is making money, but I don't think we're going to do it anymore.
Yeah, so I think next generation, the prices are going to stay exactly the same, and they're just going to ramp up microtransactions even more. Watch that shit
Which one
happen.
would you rather, though?
Would I personally? I'd rather pay like $70 for a clean game, none of that bullshit, than one that's like $50-$40 with microtransactions. I've always been like I said.
Tony,
go ahead.
Here's the thing, though. Gaming prices, like the price of games, haven't gone up, but every year, gaming as an industry records record profits.
Yes.
This is due partially to the prevalence of digital games that are locked to that $60 price tag. So you want to keep in mind when you're talking about raising the price of games, you have to still compete with Steam, which is purely digital, which doesn't have the price margins of physical games. So to a certain extent, even though the price of the game has stayed the same, we now have DLC. So we're paying $90 for a season pass and the game. So for the full game experience, we are now paying $90, where those old fucks like us remember a full game used to be everything that's on the disc. Half the time now, DLC or the stuff that you get with the season pass is not. Sorry, car. It's not the stuff that's in addition to the game. It's main features that were promised you but being rolled out late under the season pass. So not only were we technically already kind of paying more, just in a different way, but the price margins have changed and they've been more profitable than they've ever been before.
I don't know, man. I think it depends on the studio, because look how many studios have folded this year, from games that just didn't sell. So I think it's certain studios, maybe they're making it, or certain publishers, but it's not everyone.
It's definitely a double-edged sword when it comes to downloadable content, because when it comes to a game and releasing DLC, I think Tony mentioned this a couple of weeks back when I was listening. You don't necessarily want to release your DLC too early, because then people are just going to say, "Oh, why isn't this just in the game? Why are you guys hiding this or whatnot?" But then you don't want to release it too far out to the point where people don't care about that specific game anymore. I personally would like my DLC to be around 4 months after the game comes out. Any time past that, there's a high chance that I'm not going to get to that deal. There's a high chance that I might not get to this Horizon Zero Dawn deal. I've been hearing amazing stuff about that one, but that game came out in February and we're all the way in goddamn November. I'm deep into this Final Fantasy IV. This shit is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I told you, son. I told you.
Is the idea of DLC, though, to basically reduce the amount of downtime that a dev team has, and to therefore, like, normally back in the old days when a game released and they knew that they wouldn't be having income for a while, they had to kind of put money aside and insulate themselves, stockpile for the winter that was coming that they weren't going to be making as they were developing for new games. Whereas this is supposed to reduce on those profit loss margins of having to have developers employed but unworking. So
back in the day, DLC for games were just the expanded version of that same game. We'll use Dinosaurs for example. Dinosaurs still does it fucking to today. Where,
I'm sorry, Rico. Just the way you say that shit is just hilarious to me.
Dinosaurs, it comes out with its vanilla version, then it comes out with Dinosaurs Extreme Legends, and then Dinosaurs Empires, which back in the PS2 days when they first started doing this, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's additional content to Dinosaurs 5 Extreme Legends, Dinosaurs 5 Empires, expanded versions. And when we moved over to the PS3 version and DLC was introduced, everyone's like, oh, we don't necessarily need to do that anymore. Now, do we, Kobe? You can just release Extreme Legends and Empires as DLC packs to Dinosaur 6, right? Nope, they continue to release Dinosaurs, 6 as an Empires expansion and, Extreme Legends as an expansion. Capcom did it too with the Super Street Fighters. This will kind of do that today. But other companies, they really didn't do that whole separate expansion into another game. They all started to do the whole DLC thing. That's what they did back in the day. Not a lot of companies said that's what they used to do.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. All right, let's move on to the next topic here, which is also really crazy. So earlier this week, the Game Awards, which is now, it's now seen as like the official Game Awards for the entire industry. They announced their nominees, right? And for Game of the Year, there was one game in there that people went, wait, what? So basically, they nominated. Okay, let's run down the games first, right? Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn. What were the other ones again? I'm blanking.
Probably Zelda.
Zelda and Mario. Zelda and Mario.
Yeah. Come on, Tony.
And PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, a game, an unfinished game, is being nominated for Game of the Year. Now, okay, just to clarify, you guys know how I feel about the Game Awards. I think they're meaningless. So I found this shit just more hilarious than anything, right? But what do you guys think about a game being nominated, a game that isn't finished being nominated this year and could potentially be nominated next year when it is finished?
It's a fun factor. It's what I was saying about why I like Call of Duty World War II so much. Is it a perfect game? No, but it's super fun, and that's it. And that's what they're going off of. Look at all the people playing it. It's like 20-something million people playing this. It's buggy, it's glitchy. I mean, they just did a new update, or I think they're still testing it, where you can now like hop over for the fence and stuff like that. That's something very minor, but it's just making its way in. It doesn't matter, though. People love to play it, and it's considered fun. Millions are playing it. So Game of the Year, based off of people playing and stuff, makes sense. Is it what we're thinking of, or the way it used to be back in the day, where it had to be like super polished, an amazing story? You know what I mean? Like an Uncharted type game, or a Metal Gear. Throw that out. Now it's all about what people
it's not about the amount that it's finished. It's about whether it's technically released.
It's not released yet.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, people are playing it, and they don't matter.
Okay, but that's a terrible argument. That's like saying Mark McGuire should.
I don't make the
no, Adam, he's right. It's a shit. Actually, before we go, Brett, I need to ask you a question, right? And you're the perfect person to ask this, because and I want an objective. Actually, no, this is gonna prove how objective you are. Brett, you loved Ark, right?
Yeah.
Had that game gotten a Game of the Year nomination that year when it was just an alpha, would you have been okay with that?
Only if it were in a special category for early access games.
Thank you. That's all. But if it was an actual competition with other finished games, you'd have a problem with that, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it's an early access.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Yet. Yeah. It's
you're breaking the rule.
Okay, let me just jump in real first. Okay, Tony. Yeah. Okay, when I see you like ranting and raving about this topic, like my first thought is, what do you consider a finished game to be?
Like, it seems like that's finished.
A game
that's left to answer your question, a game that's left the beta stage.
Well, every game is still in beta if you think about it.
And hence why I'm asking, like, what do you mean by left the beta stage? Like, is it just like the tag beta? Because technically, like, if you want to go by those rules, Warframe should not be allowed to be voted in any category, as that technically is still in beta.
Yeah.
Like if
I
you go to
agree with
PC
that.
version, it
But
says
isn't-
beta on it.
But isn't
Still.
isn't the category that Warframe is in called the best
But then-
ongoing game?
But then what does that care about?
Then put PUBG in that category too.
Yeah, if it was in a separate category, fine, whatever. But you can't have.
Hold on,
It's
hold on.
still
Yeah.
a game
I
that
wanna-
came out this year, right? Like,
But
wanna
it's not
Brian,
a
you
finished
can pay money
game. It's
for it.
not
It's a
finished.
finished
They
game.
like,
Will come
what
out
do you
in
mean by
2024.
finished? Like, the term that
Brian.
okay,
Brian,
when
you're
you say
Brian.
you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Brett. Go ahead.
The reason why Warframe should not ever get nominated for Game of the Year is the very reason that you're talking about, because it has hid behind the beta shield. Having a beta logo up basically means, excuse our mess, our game is technically not done yet.
Thank you.
And to stay in beta continuously basically insulates you from criticism from the game by saying that it's in beta. There is nothing wrong with releasing a game and then releasing additional modes with an opt-in optional beta to jump into those modes as soon as they are available. There have been plenty of games that you are allowed to play on a beta server and accept the terms. This is not the polished version of the game, but that the game is still released. Staying behind that beta tag basically insulates you from criticism, and at the very least should disqualify you from awards.
Yes.
When
Exactly.
is the award? When
But
is
then,
the award show?
I disagree with that, because then you're saying that all it needs is just that tag. Like, how about all the hundreds of games, well, the tens of games that come out every year that are quote unquote unfinished and needs like how many patches to be fixed? Like, are they quote unquote unfinished just because they don't have the beta tag?
No, but those get judged for being buggy. Those get points taken off because they are buggy and aren't.
So then, what
Yeah,
is the
PUBG
difference between
PUBG is
being in
separated.
quote unquote early access and a game not being in early access? Like, is it just not the tag that's different? Because by
They're
your
judged by different criteria because of the tag.
tag,
Now,
so all
why
you're
is
saying
it
is that
picked by
no,
people?
wait. So all you're saying is that it's just the tag that makes the difference. So it's not the actual game itself in state that makes the difference. It's just the tag.
I'm saying that
actually,
the tag
PUBG
deflects criticism
Yes.
and therefore makes it judged under different criteria. If you play a game and it is buggy, if it is a buggy and laggy and does not play well, if it is in early access, you can be like, well, the bones are there. This will turn into something good. They just need to streamline it and get it cleaned up, aka ARC. However, if you say I've released the game, so like if I judged ARC by a finished game standard, it would fail miserably. If I judge it by early access standards, it has a lot of potential. They are two completely different things that change as soon as you say a game is finished. The same way you say when anything else is finished. If I come up and I start eating out of the pan while you're making dinner, and I'm like, nah, that's not real great. You might be like, well, I'm still cooking, fucktard. But if I then presented you with a skillet of fried beef and said, look, it's finished dinner, you might be like, no, what?
I completely agree with him, because that is one thing that since betas have been given to the public, popularized around the PS3 era, anytime someone would play it and they're like, this game is trash, what's the first thing anyone that loves that game says? It's just a beta. You can't judge it.
So
That's the first thing that they would say. You
Okay.
can't judge
they
this.
said this was picked by the people, though. The people picked this.
No, they didn't. It was the voting commission that picked this.
Yeah, I mean, aren't these people?
Adam, are you fucking serious right now, dude?
I'm fucking serious because I'm saying if
Adam,
if
Adam, there's a difference. There's a
because if they
difference
were based off
between.
of that. if
Okay,
they were
Adam,
based
hold
off of
on.
that, if you
I'm
look-
gonna
if
try
you
and solve this. Adam, if you watched a wrestling match with two different weight classes pinned up against each other, does it matter how entertaining it is if it's not fair? If somebody weighs over their class, should they not be disqualified from the fight?
No, why? If they wanted to both fight, then you're in the fight. Now, if someone ran in and attacked the little man, then yeah, that's not fair. But if a little man said, "Yeah, I want to fight the big man," he's bigger than you, right? Yeah, I don't give a shit. Then fight.
So you
It's
think
fair.
there shouldn't be any weight classes at all in wrestling?
It's no, they should be. But if they want to break it, it's their choice.
Yeah.
If the person
I was
wants
having
to
a problem
do
with
it
you. Like you,
themselves-
okay, again.
Okay, so wouldn't in this
Wrestling was
instance,
a bad
breaking that-
analogy, by the way.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah, we should.
I'm not
This is
done. I'm not
MMA,
done.
MMA, yeah, MMA because
I can
wrestling's
connect the
fake.
circle here. So wouldn't in this metaphor them accepting the fight being them getting out of beta. By staying in beta, they're not accepting the fight because they're not accepting criticism.
If they didn't put their name in the hat. People picked them, whether it's a committee or somebody. Someone picked it and said, "Hey, you know what? I don't give a shit if this is in the alpha. I want this as game of the year." And everybody else.
Oh, well,
said,
you know what?
Isn't that proof that the whole process is fucked up and ridiculous?
What process? It's a bullshit event. All these award shows are bullshit.
Oh no, they are. They are. Don't get me wrong. They are bullshit.
It doesn't mean anything.
Manny, go ahead, man. What were you gonna say?
Fans.
No, I was gonna say let's just nominate PlayStation Home. That thing was in beta forever.
Hey, listen, this is what I said on Twitter. People like this one. I said, listen, if we're gonna go by these standards, then I nominate the Dragon Ball Z Fighters beta as the best fighting game of the year. Why the fuck not?
Hey, Tony, you remember earlier this year what I said my motherfucking game of the year was? Do you remember? Huh? I said Dissidia, Final Fantasy beta. I said that shit.
Why not?
Why is it here?
Why not? It's
Might
perfectly
as well be there,
valid.
you know?
Yeah, it's perfectly valid now. If you can nominate an unfinished game, why the fuck not? I'm actually gonna retroactively go back and nominate the Silent Hills demo as a fucking game of the year. Why not? Let's go crazy.
Does it make a lot of money?
It don't matter. It don't matter. You know,
I mean, I think that's what this committee's going based on.
It's the fun factor. It's the fun factor, bro. The fun factor.
But then there's not. But there could be 10 people that think it's a fun factor.
No, but you're moving the goalpost now, bro.
I'm not moving the goalpost.
It's the
goalpost.
This is a throwdown, baby. Throwdown, son.
Plain and simple. We all agree. This has never happened before.
Yes, it has.
What? That a game in alpha gets nominated as considered the best game of the year?
There have been plenty of times where games that were in alpha were put forward to be nominated, but denied because they were not technically released.
Minecraft,
Kerbal Space Program.
Doesn't count.
And then last year,
What do you mean it doesn't
that
It
fighting
doesn't count
game.
because anyone can put something forward. You just said to yourself, if they're already on the ballot, that's different. If they're already on the ballot, this game is already on the ballot. I don't give a shit about the game. Somebody did, and people seem to be happy. I haven't seen anyone bitch about this. People are like, "Oh, it's gonna win."
Actually, I've seen a lot of people.
What do you have you not been on Twitter? Everyone's bitching about this.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
What are you talking about?
Well,
Everyone's
Adam
bitching about this.
actually, Adam is not on Twitter.
That's the problem.
I've been on Twitter since 2006, and that's not what I bitch about.
Yeah, no, that's what they're bitching about, though. You have not seen the reactions. People are either mad about this or making fun of the Game Awards over this shit because it's fucking stupid. You know.
So then they won't win. Who cares? Game Awards.
I just think
you're missing the point.
point.
It
You're missing
might
the
still
point.
win despite that because this shows clear evidence that this is not representational of.
All right, so then it wins. Hey, but think about it. If they want to go based off a loophole,
here's the thing.
That game
Adam,
comes
let me say something, Adam. So let me say something, Adam. So let's say it does win Game of the Year, right?
All right.
And it gets nominated again next year when it's finished. Finished.
No. Let me finish. So it wins Game of the Year of this year, right? Because it's still, and we all agree, it's still in beta. It's still in progress. It's still changing and whatnot. And firmwares happen, things change. I'm gonna use Uncharted multiplayer for example. Every Uncharted multiplayer game, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and Uncharted 4, every time a patch or whatnot comes out and they change the game around, the multiplayer gets worse. It turns into a game that people don't really like playing anymore because it is not like the previous version of that multiplayer game. So let's say that PUBG wins Game of the Year 2017, and this is version 1.5. So next year comes around and it's on version 2.0 and they just fucked everything up. It's not the same game that it used to be. How is that still Game of the Year when it's not even what it is anymore?
It's the committee that's doing that. I mean, the people. I'm not picking it as Game of the Year even now.
I'm just saying because
if they're picking it. Obviously, it's just think about it. The game is not that great. The game is not even a game. It's one mode. It's one fucking mode.
That's the point. Okay.
No. Don't even limit it to one mode because Zelda has one mode, single player mode.
No, single player mode, but it's a story. This is just you go.
Doesn't matter. That's one mode.
No, it's
don't use the whole one mode thing.
No, it's not the same.
No. Yeah, it is the same. It's one mode.
No. Because when you die in PUBG, you lose your stuff. And you're Zelda, you get the same stuff. You have stuff that
you lose. You know what you die. You know what you lose in Zelda when you die. You lose your time.
Time is nothing. I'm losing time now. We all lose time. That's nothing. What do you mean relevant in this?
Time? What do you mean? Time is money. Time is everything.
Time is not. Time is your time. Whatever you want it to be. You want it to be about money, it's about money. You want it to be about life and fun.
Time is the most important thing you can have in your fucking life, bruh.
The whole point is that these people are obviously going based off of just the amount of people that are playing.
They're hyped because this is a new genre that is.
There you go. Is it new? It's old. We all know it's old.
No, the genre.
Let
The
me-
is relatively new.
No,
Yeah.
No.
No,
it's been around for a bit. It's been around for some time. It's just now more.
2 years, man.
Was this whole survival thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When did this whole survival thing start?
Holy shit.
Has it been here for over 6 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking about this. Remember DayZ back in the old Throwdown days?
DayZ. Yep.
And how old is DayZ?
It was a mod for it.
Oh, dude, probably about 6 years old now.
Yeah, man. It was old.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of mileage off of Arma. Just got to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Shit, man.
So,
Oh,
Adam, let me just make sure that I'm understanding your argument correctly.
I have no argument.
You do have an argument. You're arguing that this is valid.
You guys are arguing because I don't give a shit.
Okay, your position.
I think that it
Your
makes
position
sense.
then. Okay, so Brett, what do you think of his position? Yeah.
Your position is that that basically, even though the game breaks what should be the rules of being included, and that it's a completely arbitrary decision made by a closed committee that can do whatever they want and include as much as they like, that it deserves to be there because this group of people said that it should be there and they're on the committee.
No,
That's
I
what it
never
sounds
said
like.
did.
That's what it sounds like.
Because you're thinking that. I keep saying the same shit over and over again. I said, listen, don't care. Obviously, we know the game is not perfect. The committee, whoever it is going based off of how many people play it.
But you're
and that's
assuming
it.
they're qualified. And no, they're not.
No,
How do you know they're going off of how many people play?
Qualified. It's a fucking Game Award show. We can make one up tomorrow. Who gives a fuck? Why do you care so much?
Because you are making a critical assumption as to the why. You are assuming.
Fine. I'll go along with what you want. You know what? You're right. It sucks. Next.
No, that's not. That's not.
He just admitted loss.
You're missing the whole point.
Yeah, you're missing the
There
point.
is no point. You're talking to me as if I care. I don't care if PUBG.
I'm trying to explain to you why
Let
this
him
is
explain. Let him
important.
explain. Let Brett explain. Go ahead, man.
But Brett, is it really important? Like, we all know that the Game Awards are just a giant sham.
That's what I'm saying.
Why
I don't
do you
understand.
care, like,
It
who
makes it
wins
seem
a
like this is
giant
like a
sham
real
contest?
election or something. This is nothing. Who cares? You said yourself. Who are the committee? We don't fucking know.
We do
Who's
know
at
who the committee
college?
is.
We
There's a
don't
bunch of
fucking
gaming
know.
sites. We do know who it is.
All right, so then call them up. Don't bitch at me. I don't make the rules.
Here's what I think.
Sounds like my man's making excuses over here.
What?
That's
I
what
don't know. Joe, you make it seem like I've been praising this.
you are.
Adam,
You're basically saying this is perfectly valid. All these
I know
gaming
I'm
sites
not.
are
I'm
fine.
saying I don't care. They can add it today. They can say moving
Pretty
it tomorrow.
passionate for a guy who don't care.
care.
Just saying.
I don't care.
That is rather fucking true.
You know.
No,
Come
but
on now.
but here's how it can be seen as somewhat, to any extent, important. When you're out here awarding games, that's giving it even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Critical acclaim to what it already has. That builds up the sales for that game. Get it ready for its Game of the Year edition next year. That's boosting that game's sales. So to a degree, to any degree, it is kind of important to that developer if they win Game of the Year, because now people that weren't. There are people in the masses that will be like, oh, this game won Game of the Year. Wonder why it won Game of the Year.
When's the award show?
December 7th. Go ahead,
December
Brian.
7th. So when does it come out on Xbox?
December 12th.
December 12th.
Yeah.
Because then that's what I'm saying. Because then they could easily just be sneaky and be like, yo, it's finished now.
Yeah, Brian, were you gonna say, man? Oh, hold on, I want Brian to get here. What do you get? Go ahead, man.
I'm just confused. Like, why does anyone really care? Again, we all know that these Game Awards are just a giant sham. Like, most of the guys are paid for. I mean, I was shocked why Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't all those any of those characters. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I thought Persona 5, she got a lot more awards. There's no near for like anything apart from one category.
Yep.
Like, these things are just a sham by default. Like
Also, Guilty Gear is not in the fighting game category.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, but Brian, I'm not disagreeing. Yeah, I'm not
Last year
disagreeing.
they voted a game that was an alpha for like best fighting game, and then the game got cancelled.
Like shit. Yeah,
afterwards.
but
Like
Brian,
these,
by the way, I'm
these
not
things are a
disagreeing.
sham. Like
I'm not disagreeing that it's a
when have
sham.
we
It is a
cared
sham.
about
But the
what
thing
these
is,
guys think is good?
pub being nominated further shows how much of a scam it is. That's the whole point
It's
here.
a clear-cut example. It's kind of like Gamergate. It wasn't about the moment that Gamergate was set off. It wasn't about the whole fucking Zoe Quinn thing. It was about collusion in journalism that was being exposed by this one thing. There was a lot of times where, like, yes, we all kind of know that this is bullshit, right? But Joe Schmo doesn't know that. Your average guy on the street doesn't necessarily know that. And when they print Game of the Year on the front of the fucking box or put it in their advertisements, they do that because it works with certain people.
Yeah.
Then
That's
the issue
what
with that is like these days, like people just put like Game of the Year tags on anything.
All kinds of shit. Yeah,
What's
Game of the Year edition. They'll say. This
And
is
even
for
if,
it is.
and then like all they need is just like one small site somewhere to say, hey, this is a Game of the Year, and boom, it's on the box.
There you go.
Like the amount of times I've seen, oh, this is like Game of the Year from like this random blog site. I'm like, I've never even heard of these guys before. Like, what the hell? Like all it takes is just one site to name Game of the Year. So at some point in time, some other site or even some other award show will give it Game of the Year purely for some stupid reason. Then they'll still put it on the box. So it doesn't
And
matter
that's
if
fine
it's
next
or
year.
not.
Yeah,
No,
next
this
year,
year.
that's fine. Yeah.
No, that's saying like this year they'll still do it. Like
Oh,
some
no,
random
yeah,
blog
yeah,
site
no,
will
you're
say
right
like,
about that. But here's
"Hey,
the thing.
best PC exclusive is PUBG or some shit like that. And like boom, it's Game of the Year. Or like some random site will still give it the Game of the Year title and then they'll still slap on the box. So does it matter if it's from the Sham Awards or from random small blog
It
sites?
does, because to people, again, we obviously don't give a fuck. But to people, they're gonna see, oh, they got Game of the Year from the actual Game Awards. This is legit. That's how they're gonna see it. Why do you think they titled it the Game Awards? Because people see this as the gaming version of the Oscars or the Emmys or whatever. They think this is official, and the fact that every prominent website is on the voting committee makes people really think
It's
it's
on
official.
TV. Remember, what was the TV one? The Video Game
The
Awards.
Spike TV, yeah.
The
But
Spike
this is
one.
an evolution of that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's online based, and it'll be a different award show. So people,
No,
if they follow that, they'll give a shit. If not, they
No,
won't
still
care.
has the same bullshit. Like, was it like last year it had the
It was the same
like
award.
the
It was
shtick
the same,
man or
yeah.
the shtick thing?
Yeah,
Fucking
that's right,
fighting,
shit, yeah.
shaving thing, man. That was fucking
Yeah.
stupid. I thought that was a joke. I literally thought that was like some like parody thing that someone had put in there. I'm like, hold on, am I
Nope.
watching like a parody thing? And I checked it. I'm like, this is real. Like, why?
Yeah, because it's still the same shit. Because remember, all that shit is paid off by companies and other shit. That's why, like Manny said, the Game Award show is really just a vehicle for them to sell you shit. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
here.
that's all it is. Like
Popularity
you see how many times they break for a commercial. They break for commercials all the time, and the fact is that there's so many commercials, it's hard to even distinguish them
Well, even
from
the
the
trailers.
fucking trailers that they show. And what award show shows fucking trailers for other movies?
That's what they want to do.
Oh yeah. During you're watching the Academy Awards, and also you see a trailer for the next Avengers fucking film. Really?
And then like suddenly some guy just walks in on screen and says, yeah, and what during that advert, like these three guys won the awards. Hey,
Yeah.
clap. Move on to the next
Can I
advert. Like,
please point out the fact that they're breaking for commercials during a live stream? This isn't televised anymore. They're stopping the show to show fucking ads and shit, and then they come back and go, oh yeah, these guys won during the break. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, they're breaking for commercials to show you fucking more commercials. I mean, literally. I mean, come on. A world premiere trailer is literally a commercial for a game that's going to be coming soon. So you're breaking from commercials to watch commercials. That's how
Commercialception.
stupid that show is.
That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit. So I don't know why anyone cares.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pub wins just so they could advertise the fact that the game came out on Xbox. I'm telling you, man. Though, Adam, I just want you to understand. I agree with you that it is a sham bullshit, and this pub thing just further proves that. That's the whole point of this. Understand?
There you go.
It's crazy, man. Anyway, Rich, get in here, man. What do you think about all this silliness?
Well, I think you guys pretty much nailed everything on the topic. One thing I did want to say is I did see that the creative director, they had an interview with him, and he said himself that there are other games that should win. He doesn't think that this game should be Game of the Year.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Well, there you go. More proof of this
he
bullshit.
he don't care. He don't care. They're just
Wow.
amazed that this shit even happened. I'm telling you, they said it. They were like, they could have never imagined that they would have hit this success. They just didn't see it. They thought they'd make a few bucks and that was it. Look at them now. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Can I ask like one question?
ahead.
And this is actually quite funny. This will make everyone laugh. Did anyone like catch how many Xbox One exclusives were actually nominated for anything?
Get off.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, Brian, just to jump on that, I find it funny that people are saying, "Hey, Pub, it's the big Xbox game that's getting nominated." No. The awards is on the 7th. The game comes out on Xbox on the 12th. Yeah.
I was just there like, okay, we have a third party, Sony first party, Nintendo first party, Nintendo first party, Sony.
Can we all agree?
Third party. Like, there's no Xbox games in this one. What the fuck?
Can we all agree?
Xbox
Best art design is
Yeah.
Cuphead.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, that's the best Xbox exclusive. You know.
No, I was gonna say best art design. They had
Yeah, but we're not gonna get into the actual categories. Fuck all that shit. I just want to talk about Pub. You know.
But Xbox has the best game lineup ever.
That is true, right?
No, that was like 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
Well, ever continues until now,
That
doesn't
is
it?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Ever.
No, I think it was the best games
did
lineup
have
of all
the best.
time.
Now it doesn't. So yeah, like that year it did have the best, but now it's like less than the best.
No,
like
but they
this year.
said of all
It's still
time.
part of all time.
It's
Yeah.
still part
Yeah,
of
it is
all
still
time.
part of all time.
So it's still the best. It's still the best. All right, let's move on to some other stuff. Some October NPDs which dropped. And here's the thing, I'm going to tie it back to the whole microtransaction thing. Again, people always bitch about games with microtransactions, yet the top 2 games are games that have motherfucking microtransactions, man. Middle Earth Shadow Wars, the number 1 game. Number 2 is Assassin's Creed. Very interesting there. You know,
Wait, what does Assassin's Creed do for microtransactions?
it has loot boxes and shit. You know, just like every other game. You know. So
Does
there
it
you
take
go.
no money though? Does it ask for money? I thought it was just in-game money. They said.
You could spend real money to buy in-game money. Understand?
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
Well,
Adam.
that's how they all go. I didn't know they said because I thought they didn't have that in there.
No, they totally do. And in Middle Earth, totally does too.
Oh, now I knew that one.
Yeah, but yeah, I just find it funny. Like, hey, the 2 games that people are bitching about are the top 2 games.
By the way,
You know what question that I'm gonna ask?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh,
is it not there?
No,
it's
okay.
there.
there.
It's there.
Okay.
GTA 5. GTA 5 is number 12, bro.
Oh, slipping, boy, slipping.
Yeah.
Quick! Someone like throw like Rockstar some cash, man.
They're faded, son.
That just means they'll release Red Dead soon.
Yeah, so let's run down the list here. So number 1, Middle Earth. Number 2, Assassin's Creed. Number 3, they're not counting digital sales here either. And the game came out October 27th.
The same day as Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey. Crazy. The South Park game is number 4. NBA is number 5, FIFA number 6, WWE number 7, Madden 8. That's 4 fucking.
Wrestling's up there? Are you kidding?
Yeah, WWE 2K18 number
So,
7.
Steve Rich, your favorite game made it. That was Rich's game of the year. He's keeping all quiet about it.
hell
man.
no.
Yeah, number 9 here is Destiny 2, not counting digital. And hey, Xbox is getting a little love. Damn, Forza Motorsport number 10 beating out Gran Turismo at number 11. And
That's it.
yeah,
Oh,
by the way,
shit.
but I need to point this out though, because this is some of the headlines I read. So people love microtransactions but hate shooting zombies in the face. Wolfenstein 2, which is not selling very well, number 14,
Oh,
and number
speaking of-
number 13, Evil Within, 2 Bethesda games all the way at the bottom.
Just a link to what you just Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Microsoft just sent out an email for anybody interested, even watching and want to go pick it up. It's $30 on their website, Microsoft's store site. You can get Wolfenstein, the new one, $30 for the physical and $40 for the digital.
Can I buy
right now?
Can I buy the PS4 version?
No, not on the Microsoft store. Sorry, Microsoft.
I said, I'm waiting for that sale, boy. Oh,
Oh yeah. It's gonna be on
By the
sale.
way, it's Legend of Zelda, even though it's not in the top 10, that motherfucker's still in there. Number 15. You know, Mario Kart 8. A lot more. If you could go further down the list, there's a lot more Nintendo games on this bitch.
Fire
You know,
Emblem.
by the way, because again, I was so focused on the game sales, I totally didn't see what console won the fucking month. Was it Nintendo again?
Yeah, Nintendo.
Okay, no surprise there. You know,
Oh, they bragged about it on their website.
of course.
I'm surprised that they're producing enough units.
I'm
Still,
surprised too.
They have to now.
Well, they have to now since the iPhone released the iPhone X, and those are OLED screens.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they can get their LED screens now.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then two Tom Clancy games are still in the bitch.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it's sports season, obviously. Very interesting. But yeah, I just found that funny. The two top games are games of microtransactions.
Yo, one more month, man, till we get to that NPD with me and Brett with that bet.
In November, I can't fucking wait.
What was it, bet? Who's winning?
I don't know. What was it? Was it a game, Brett? I forgot.
I thought it was a $20 PSN card.
Oh,
Although
that's right.
I swear I'll have to go back to listen to it. I thought it was November or December.
This is why we can't make bets on Throwdown, because we keep forgetting the fucking rules.
Dude, no, there's audio there. Go back and listen to it.
No, Brett. So I think I misunderstood you, but we can make the bet whatever you recall it. Because so when you said December, I thought you were mentioning that the show was going to be during December because that's when we get the NPDs for November.
No, my point was that I think Skyrim will crack during the holiday season, and I think the top. I think what did we say, 10 or 15? I think it was 10.
10, yeah. Brett, by the way, what do you constitute as the holiday season?
November or December.
Okay, so either one of those 2 months then. Just make it
so it's a conjunction. Or is it a disjunction?
Conjunction, junction, what's function?
Because if it's a conjunction, then it has to be in the NPDs for both November and December. But if it's a disjunction, it's an or, then it just has to be one either December.
No,
or.
it's just an or. My question, the only thing I'm hesitant on is because it releases halfway through November. Like I don't think it's going to be a quick jump. Like everybody runs out and buys it. I think it'll be.
Hey, Brett. Mario came out October 27th, and
yeah, but this is a different
without
beast.
digital
Like,
sales.
My reliance on its sales are going to be it being bundled for Christmas sales. Like I think a lot of people are going to get Skyrim for Christmas.
By the way, Skyrim released 5 days ago. Oh no, never mind. This was not November 11, 2011.
Okay, I was about to say, bro. Shit.
Never mind. When the hell does it come out then?
Oh, next week. Next week, I believe.
Is it Friday? Isn't it Friday tomorrow?
Is it Friday?
Tomorrow. Yeah, it's Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, because the reviews came out already. So
yeah,
okay.
it's
I wonder
like
if they're higher than.
It's being released 3 weeks into November, which is the only thing that gives me pause. Like, am I really betting that Skyrim will, outsell it its first week, everything else that it's competing against 4 weeks of sales with? Like, I don't know, man. That's tough. That's really tough. It's still a tough bet to say whether it'll crack the top 10 in December, but I think it has more of a chance than November, personally.
So which one are you picking? November, December, or do you want to hedge it and say that?
Can I go with or? I was just going with holiday season. I'll narrow it down if you make me.
I don't mind. I'll keep it. I'll keep it with that.
So so you have two chances to win, basically. All right, fair enough.
I have a chance and a Hail Mary.
Okay, So yeah, very interesting. All right,
While
go ahead,
we're on the
Brian.
topic, can
Yes.
I bring this up because I love to bring this up, and this will make Brett very happy as well. So I was scrolling down the list and looking at the best-selling games of 2017 so far, and the order is as follows: Destiny 2, followed by NBA 2K18, followed by Wildlands.
What?
So Ubisoft is happy there. Followed by Madden, and then followed by Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, followed by our favorite GTA 5, and for Honor, again Ubisoft very excited, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. So it seems like
By the way,
myself
Brian,
and Brett were correct, and I think
Brett.
Carlos as well.
Yeah,
By the way, Brian, you missed you missed something.
Let me brag first. I want to brag first. Man.
Okay, but you missed something very important. You said Destiny when you started listing off the top selling games of the year. You started off with Destiny 2. The top selling game of this year is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
No, that's of the last 12 months.
Yeah, the last year, dude. That's what a year is.
This year, that's like 2017.
Oh my
so
God.
far.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you guys were totally on the money. But again, I still think I was like my logic was sound for why Horizon was going to outsell Zelda. Obviously that didn't pan out. I thought that the Switch was going to sell 4 million tops this year. But that didn't end up happening, obviously. So you guys could bask in me and Chris being wrong.
Tony, even if it still would have sold 4 million, that attach rate, man, it was over 100%.
Yeah, it's insane. I did not anticipate that. I figured people were like, Zelda, whatever. Totally wrong. I don't understand Nintendo as much as I understand other companies. I will freely admit that.
There was nothing else that came out when the Switch came out.
Yeah,
people had to get Zelda.
No, I understand that, but I didn't. No, but Super Bomber, get out of here.
That's what I'm saying. They had balls, man. $50 for that shit.
That's crazy, man. But very interesting. Be a Call of Duty, damn.
Like the discussion between myself and Tony, like mine is games that came out 2017, whereas his is the games that came out in the last 12 months. That includes from October 2016.
I got you.
Yeah, but even still, the fact that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is the best-selling game in the last 12 months, like that's.
I want people to understand that this is one of the worst-selling Call of Duties, and it still kicks the shit out of everything.
People
I'm more surprised by like 5 and 6. It's 2K18 and 2K17.
That's insane, man.
Brian. You plan shooter, man.
By the way, we need to explain this thing because I don't even think Adam knows the story, right? Okay. Where did we come up with the term shooter man? This is crazy. Go ahead, Brian. Tell the story.
All right. So, 4 years back, I got Game Dev Tycoon, and I was playing that for a bit. So basically, it's like you run a game studio, you make games and all sorts. So I was going through like making games and started making like full power versions of like everything. Made like a rip off of Daisy, made a rip off of GTA because again GTA. And then what happened is that my studio was like running like really bad on sales and nothing good was happening. Like we hadn't had like a good like release since our Final Fantasy VII knockoff. So I was like, okay, you know what? For shits and giggles, I won't think of any strategy. I'll just like try and plan out like Call of Duty like in the game, and then let's see what happens. So I went through. I pretty much made Call of Duty like first person shooter, military, etc., etc. And the game did gangbuster records. It pretty much lifted my game studio out of like the hole that it was stuck in. It won lots of awards at the game shows, and it sold like the best-selling game ever of like that year. I'm like, this is not happening. Like, I literally made Call of Duty and it worked. Like, this is depressing.
It really is.
Like, the game is literally imitating life. Like, this is not right. And then ever since then, I've not played because I was so sad.
Because people are, I'll stop myself before I insult anybody, but people are simple-minded. That's what they go for digitally and in the real world and in the digital world.
It's really depressing.
It's sad. It's fucking sad.
It's depressing. It's a genre. People like shooters, man.
Shooter man.
So every time we talk about shooter man, now you know what we're talking. That's why we were called to. That's why we refer to Call of Duty as shooter man, because it's the same shit.
Oh yeah, I remember people used to call what you call it, Serious Sam shooter man.
But Serious Sam, it's not Call of Duty. Understand?
No, but it's a shooter. It's just a guy
no. But it's different. But it's not a military shooter. There's certain things in there. You need a military first-person shooter. That's what we're talking about here.
And Adam, I just called the game Shooter Man because I just had no ideas for like a name.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's a Shooter Man thing. So
It's generic shooter name.
And I'm just so depressed that it literally won awards and sold gangbusters. Like I was just like, oh fuck this, man! I can't. This is like depressing.
You stop playing the game after that.
Hey! All I gotta say is, you gotta remember, art doesn't make money.
Yeah, exactly. And Call of Duty.
People were like, "Oh, Flappy Bird, that's the best game out." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
remember Flappy Bird?
Yeah, I remember that bullshit.
Game.
That rip off, And
also, like a fun fact, like while like the games were being made, I made sure that they had no bugs. I'm like, nope, I'm not being Ubisoft. So I'm just waiting.
Yeah,
I wait until like there's 0 bugs and then release. I'm not being Ubisoft, and that fucks me over. But still, not being Ubisoft.
That's hilarious, man. All right, and the last topic here, because this is just funny to me. So Xbox One X, came out last week, around the world, right? And they released the Japanese sales numbers, right? So the system sold, Xbox One X in Japan first week, and it's sold out too, by the way, completely sold out. 1,639 units.
Yay, 1,000.
Yes.
How many did they ship there?
They shipped. That was the ship. That was their entire shipment.
There you go.
You know, so my
Yeah.
question is, are these being bought by dudes at the military bases? Who's buying this thing in
I'm sure
Japan?
that's who is
Yeah.
buying them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good theory. That's a really good
Far-
theory.
yeah,
As
that's
far as
my
what I
that's my theory. Go ahead, Riku.
As far as what I read, they only sent out enough for everyone that pre-ordered.
Ah,
So if you pre-ordered one, then they sent you one for, you.
I-
But they didn't. Huh?
Yeah, I think Microsoft has just given up on Japan. Like they sent as little as they could.
think
Yeah,
about
they-
this: the Vita outsold 3,023.
Vita means life, big boys. No, but seriously, that's what they did in Japan. If you read that article, they said stores said if you want an Xbox One, come and pre-order it, and we'll send you one. So Microsoft literally did not send any extras. They're like, if you want one, we'll send you one. So that's why they sold out, because they only send enough for everyone that pre-ordered one.
Yo, I'm honestly like, my biggest regret in life was when I went to Japan and didn't talk to the people there and asked them why the hell do they not like Xbox.
Well, it's
you,
not Japanese.
you know why it's not Japanese? You know. By the way, the Xbox One S sold 49 units last week. 49.
Oh,
Yeah.
So Richard, are you
No,
any
40.
closer-
No, Brett, 49. As in less than 50 people.
4,900?
No, 49.
49.
49. That's it. It's crazy. Go ahead, man. What were we gonna say?
Richard, so are you any closer to getting the X anytime soon?
X is not going to give it to me anytime soon. until I see some games. Got to see some games.
Hey man, I hear you.
Oh,
I
man.
would actually counter that with saying that, like, in order to get an X would have to be given to you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You know.
It's gonna give it to
So
you.
so in a way, X gotta give it to you.
Yeah, it's got
Oh.
that's what they do in Japan.
It's hilarious. By the way, just to read off some of these other numbers, the fucking Switch, man, 84,593 units, killing it over there. You know. And that's-
Like I said, I think everyone that's buying that Switch over there already has a PS4.
yeah, probably.
I would agree with that,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
and I'll one up that and say, as it should be.
Yeah. By the way, I love this letterhead from advertisement from Japan. Xbox One X Project Scorpio pre-order. They're still calling it that shit over there, bro. It's in Akihabara too. That sign. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's just very funny to me, you know. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for this show. Great discussion about everything. Go ahead, Manny.
No, go.
But since you're talking, plug your shit again, man.
Ah, yes. So, yes, I'm going to be at Anime NYC this weekend. Come by, drop by, say hello. Tony won't be there, but, he'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, I don't. Going to
Yo, man, you
anime
can buy
fest.
some anime.
Yeah, right. I'm good.
Yeah. And I'll be there, selling my wares and all that other good stuff.
Nice. And I want to thank Richard and Riku for being on. Richard, man, tell us what's going on with the site over the weekend, man.
Oh well, Adam, Dana, we're going to be actually doing a WrestleCast for Survivor Series. So
Whoa.
Oh,
I
shit.
will uncanceled. People subscribed. They put in $2, and we came back. There we go.
yeah,
They asked for it.
tomorrow night. Stay tuned for details.
That's going to be amazing. And Riku, man, I got to ask you this question, man. How many platinums you got so far, brother?
I have 151 platinums. Your boy Riku-san won.
Fake news.
I've been slowing down lately. I've only actually gotten five platinums this year.
Only?
Yeah, only 5.
Slowing down. You're an old man, now.
Hey,
By
man,
the
if
way,
you-
yeah.
I'm
go
an old
ahead.
ass nigga. Huh?
Man, if you're part of the rewards program, you get all kinds of crazy shit now.
That's right,
Man.
Riku. I know
Oh, yeah.
Adam's making money off that shit.
I'm making mad.
You wanna-
I got 50 points just for getting some shit in Call of Duty.
Stop it. You want to
I'm
my
just saying, I'm calling like it is.
He's like, stop it.
Stop it.
here's my opinion on the whole Sony rewards thing. Okay, firstly, like 4 years ago, purchased a PlayStation Capital One credit card. And they're like, oh, if you get this Capital One credit card, you get a $50 PSN code. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it works.
Never fucking got my fucking PSN.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, you motherfuckers.
I get it all the time.
I needed a credit card anyway. So, continuously used this credit card all the way up to this point. I only went on Sony Rewards like once. And, when they announced the whole trophy thing, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot I made a Sony Rewards account. So I went on there, and it said I had 16,480 points. Okay. That's like $160 in PSN credit. So I'm like, oh, cool. So, I redeemed that, but decided it's fucking shit because everyone's like bombarding it. So it's crashing every 2 seconds.
What do you use the app? I use the phone app.
No, I was on the web browser.
Their web browser sucks altogether. It doesn't matter what you use, but the app works, and you can redeem everything through the app. I'm always sending screenshots of telling everybody, like, yo, this is legit, because a lot of people don't believe me. And I send it. I'll send them the emails, like, look, this is what I got. And it's every month. I get at least $40 worth.
That's cute. Here's the thing about the fucking.
Wait, do you have reoccurring bills that you normally pay, like your cell phone bill and stuff like that? That's what I attach to it. So it's constantly stuff that I know I'm gonna have to pay anyway. So I just have it attached to it, and that's it. And then I use it, and next I start seeing these points add up, and then I get that and turn it into money. For the PS.
Adam, I know you said time is worthless to you, but time is everything to everybody else. Here's the thing about those little trophy promotion things. It's trash, okay? That's my opinion. It's trash. The fucking
time turns into money.
They have 3 promotions for trophies. The first one is 100 silver trophies for 100 points. The second one is 25 gold trophies for 250 points, and the last one is 10 platinums for 1,000 points. 1,000 points. 1,000 points is worth $10. So you're trying to tell me that the 5 platinums that I've earned this year, first of all, you need to fucking get 10 platinums to even qualify for the 1,000 points. So if you only have 5 platinums, you can't just cash out those 5 platinums and get $5. No, you need 10. And like I said, first of all, 10 platinums, that's kind of fucking time consuming for fucking 10 punk ass dollars. That no.
But it's free $10 that you don't have to do anything. You just play the game.
No. Yeah, I understand. That's better than what we were getting, which was nothing. Sure. But that doesn't mean that this ain't bullshit.
All right.
Something tells me that later on, these promotions are going to change. We're probably going to see a bronze later on. We're probably going to see something change. This is the first time they're doing this. We're definitely going to see more promotions in the future. But right now, I'm going to continue to play games that don't have trophies. Why? Because they're fun to me. Final Fantasy IV is fucking awesome. And Cecil's the motherfucking badass. Final Fantasy IV is shitting all over Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. And I can't
play any game on Switch. None of that shit.
Rich, you playing? I'm Rich. Rico, you playing that shit on Vita, right?
Yeah, I'm playing the PSP and the PSP.
My
version.
man.
Sprites shit is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that game's the shit.
Yeah, Cecil's fucking badass.
Yeah, I told you, man. I told you, bro. Yeah, man. All right, so that's gonna pretty much do it for us. So I want to thank you guys for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Mixer, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tonight is joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Yo, go watch Shokugeki no Soma, man. That show is fucking good, man.
Brian Manjoma.
Don't buy EA's bullshit.
Brett Murdoch.
For giving out show recommendations, I recommend Dirk Gently. Highly underrated.
Douglas Adams.
Fuck yeah.
Adam Vale.
Go play Shooter Man, Call of Duty World War II.
Yes.
It is hot fire.
Richard Bailey Jr.
See you later, guys.
and
Oh, watch War Games. War Games on Saturday. War Games.
Oh yeah, Morgan.
Okay. You crazy. And Riku-san 1, the only one.
The only one. If we out here recommending shit, y'all niggas need to watch Inuyashiki.
Oh my
What do you
god.
call me?
Hey, you going back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this?
They
What
brought
is this?
back they brought back
What is this?
Inuyasha, son?
No,
What is
stop
this,
it,
like-
damn it.
They brought back Inuyasha, son?
Inuyashiki is from the creator of Gantz. It's really fucking awesome. But segueing over to something else that I recently watched, Thor Ragnarok is my 4th favorite Marvel movie. That movie
What?
is fucking
Thank you.
What the fuck?
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
legit.
you just started something.
Thor Ragnarok is fucking awesome. All right.
I am legit the
And
only
that's-
person on earth that doesn't really like this movie. To me, I that's at the bottom
Thor
with
Ragnarok
You're
is
also
better
the only
than
person
both
that likes
Guardians of the
Payback.
Galaxy.
wow. Like to me, I'm like I play Thor Ragnarok right next to the last 2 Iron Man movies, but to each their own, I guess. You know, that's crazy. All right, man. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Later.
Later, guys.
Peace, niggas.
Peace. Later, people.
You'll pay for the whole seat, but only need the edge.